Today I'm joined by my client Mark, who has been working with me for the last 18 months. Mark has an incredible story that I'm really looking forward to getting into today. It's a story of resilience and taking himself from a very difficult position into a place where he never thought he would be now. So really looking forward to getting into this, Mark. Take us back 5 years to the start of this whole journey and where it all began.
Yeah, I always had a background in kind of fitness and training, and I'd done martial arts for a long time. But I left the fire station, if you can imagine, on a Saturday morning after finishing a shift. And I'd been training for a year, and the plan was to go to the Alps to do some of the Tour de France climbs with the fire brigade cycling team. So I trained and trained and trained. I'd gotten myself down to what I thought was brilliant. I got myself down to, I think it was 85 and a half, 86 kilos. I thought that's the best I'm ever going to be. Cardiovascular, really, really good. Anyway, flew across. I had 10 days off from work. Flew across to the Alps, picked up our bikes, and went out on our first day, climbed Alpe d'Huez, which is a massive climb. Got to the top. Time of my life was one of the big tick boxes. Came down out of that. It's a ski resort. Came down out of that. Back up another really big climb, and then we had hit some really good road. So we didn't even have to really pedal, but we were tipping along. And I remember coming around a really long sweeping right hand bend, like we're up at 2,000 meters, and right in front of me, in the space of 60 meters, was a hairpin. And I look back at my trip computer, I was doing 63 kilometers an hour. Hit the brakes, back wheel shot up off the ground, the bike went to the left, and I went straight across the road. I catapulted, tumbled, bounced, and then I hit a mound, a natural kind of mound. If I went over the edge of that, it'd still have been looking for me. But I hit the mound in a kind of fetal position. I remember thinking, oh, I'm going to go unconscious here. And that didn't happen. And then I'm lying in a ditch, and I'm like, I'm good. I'm going to get up now. I hope no one saw that. Get back on the bike. And I go to get up, and I was like, well, give myself another little bit of time. And then the lads started to arrive in. And one of them sat me up, and my right collarbone was shattered. So he says, you're done, man. He says, you're finished. And I went, oh, no. And then I realised I couldn't feel my left hand. So kind of trigger finger, my thumb, I was like, lads, my neck's broken. We had a lot of experience working with people, and from a paramedical point of view, I said, neck. And they were like, nah. Anyway, packed me into a van, drove me an hour down into Grenoble. And when I got into Grenoble, into the hospital, I couldn't move, couldn't get out of the van. So a French fire brigade team took me out, brought me in. Long story short, went for scans. I had completely blown my right collarbone. I torn all the rotator cuffs in both shoulders. I tore a blood vessel in the left-hand side of my neck. And I had shattered C5. So it broke it into like a jigsaw puzzle, but it held together. So I ended up in intensive care. No phone, no way to contact anybody. So Ruth at the time had known had been taken to the hospital, and then she wouldn't get in contact with me for about 3 days. So she was up the walls. Anyway, I remember pointed at that night about 11 o'clock. I was still in my kit, and a nurse came in, and I'm collared up. I'm lying prone in the bed, and she wanted to feed me a yogurt on a spoon. And I was like, no. If I can't eat this myself, I'm not eating it. So she was like, you can't really move. And I said, well, I'll eat it the way I'm lying. So I remember spilling it on my face and on my chest, and I was like, this could be forever, or this could have been forever. And it was a moment that a day doesn't go by without me thinking about it. So I had been given a second chance. And the rest of the trip, I didn't care about. All I knew was, I'm after getting out of jail here. Anyway, I got them to allow me to fly back home then on the Sunday, which was like, the accident happened on Tuesday. I had to fill out loads of forms. They were like, this is not a good idea. Anyway, flew home, landed, went to the hospital on the Monday, James's, to book into the Irish system. He says, what's the story? I said, I think my neck's broken. And he's like, hold on, send you down for a scan here. And like literally alarm bells went off, red lights were flashed, don't move. They said, how'd you get home? I said, I flew. What? How? So they ended up putting me in a big Miami J collar, it's called.
Just on that, you were with, that trip was with paramedics.
24 paramedics, yeah.
And they
Go.
and you're obviously qualified paramedic. How many years did you spend in the fire brigade?
28.
And you were happy to let them load you into a van and then fly home with a broken neck?
Yeah, I was like, I just need to get home. I need to be out of this country. I need to be home.
Wow.
So I got home anyway, and I spent another 2 weeks in James's hospital on my back. And then they sent me home and they said, look, you're going to have to take it really handy and not do anything crazy. Your neck is broken. So I ended up 2 weeks later, I was working. So I was working from home, start teaching online, and then the whole process started. So I went from being really fit to a slow recovery, lying in bed for maybe 2 months. No one knows what I went through except Ruth. So Ruth got me to move in with her at the time. We were seeing each other. She said, you're not going to be able to do this on your own. So we moved in, and she was literally washing me, showering me. I couldn't take my t-shirts off. I couldn't get dressed. So she did all of that. She kind of got me through that. And
just on that, Mark, as well, just before we go any further, knowing you and the type of personality you have, even that alone would have been hell, right?
Oh,
like
man.
Having that lack of ability to do things yourself. I can't think of the right word. That lack of independence.
Yeah,
must have been horrendous.
Like, right? The wrong word. I felt crippled. While I wasn't, I felt crippled. Like I couldn't do anything. I was just sitting in the bed, watching programs, having food brought to me, and getting up, getting washed, getting back into bed. Like that's literally all I was doing. And then that I got to a place where I was able to get back up. Now my job was very fit. My fire brigade was over, career was over, done. Never went back to a fire. I'd never been back to a fire station since. So that was the end of my career. I ended up getting retirement, and then I started the process of trying to get back to being functionally fit. I think it's the first conversation I had with you. I said, what do you want out of this? Functionally fitness. I'd gone to a physiotherapist, and he gave me a set of exercises. I remember coming home to do them. He was going, hey, your shoulders are, they're not functional. They're not working. I remember coming home I couldn't do a single press up. I couldn't take my t-shirts off. I couldn't do simple band exercises. My arms wouldn't move out more than this from my body. I was like, I'm done. I can't do anything. So then Ruth's son got sepsis. Just as I was recovering, he got sepsis. He spent a week, 10 days in hospital, and he was right on the edge. So he was 7 at the time, and I had copped it. I knew, and we got him into hospital, but he was really bad. He recovered from that, big relief. And a week later to the day, I go to get out of bed, and I went, my knee's gone. And Ruth said, what do you mean? I said, it's gone. It's not working. And over the next 2-3 months, I have never, ever been in so much pain. I'll never forget. I was sleeping an hour a night if I was lucky. I remember we were living in a beautiful place. I was sitting out the back. I was going, I am devoid of any emotion. So I knew I was sinking into depression, just because of sleep. So they eventually got me in, and he brought me in, and he said, right, we're going to do the surgery. He brought me in on a Wednesday for pre-tests. He says, we can't do it. You've had COVID. And I went, what do you mean? He says, you've got markers in your blood. So I got put off for another month, and then they replaced the knee. So I had a whole new knee, and now he was like...
Was that related to the crash?
It had taken a bad knock. Now, I'd had surgeries on it before, but it had taken a knock. I had just finished it off. So I spent the next 6 months recovering from that. I did everything I was told to do. He says you'll get flexion back in your knee to, 45 degrees or so, and he says that'll be about it. And I went, no, I'll push through this. So when I look at what I do in the gym now, I just but my running, I used to run all the time, that was over. I don't run anymore, so I can't do any of that stuff. It just doesn't feel comfortable. So that was it. And then what happened next was I went to see Amy performing on stage, and you'd been our coach, and didn't know what to expect. I knew she'd been training, I was watching her progress, but didn't know what to expect, and I was blown away. And Ruth had come down with me, and we had watched the senior men or whatever. She was going, you could do that. And I went, no, I can't even do a goddamn press up. I'm like, no. She says, you could do that.
This is after, so this was 2023 that Amy
yeah,
because it was the spring shows.
So it had taken me that long.
So this is 4 years of...
Yeah, it taken me that long.
You having obviously been battered to then Ruth saying this.
Yeah, and I went, ridiculous. Not a chance. So I came so impressed with Amy, came out, and I went, let's give it a lash. Let's just see. Let's go to the gym and just see. So I joined the AKA gym and went in, and I was doing a few bits and pieces, and I was a little bit sheepish going in, and I'd been used to being in gyms. I was a little bit sheepish. I felt out of place, all of that kind of stuff people talk about. I knew my way around the gym, but I didn't feel comfortable because I was like looking at people in this gym going, this is impressive. Like, people are, they're into it, and that's where I wanted to be again. And then I went, right, okay. I had started studying for a master's, and I had done a coaching diploma. So I had a lot of that stuff in my head about goal setting, and I'm very goal orientated and had all of that in place. So I had what it took in my head to do this.
This was a psychological coaching,
psychological
coaching.
Psychological coaching. So goal setting and changing people's behaviors and all that type of stuff. So then I hooked up with you. I said, look, okay, what's the story? And it was about functional fitness, about getting into the gym. I had nothing set. I'd no predetermined plan. I just, can I actually do this? And you said to me, this is the next pivotal moment. And he just sent me a set of photographs. And I went, no problem. Stood in front of the mirror, took the photographs. And I remember looking at my back shot, and I was like, oh my God. I remember saying to Ruth, why did you not tell me that I looked like that? And she was going, I never even noticed. And I went, how can you not notice that? So that was my picture of, this is what has to change. This is the picture that I will use. Amy's picture, and this is the picture that I will use as my standard of where I need to go to. And you sent me out a program. I remember you sent me out a program, and I got it, and I looked at it, and I went, no, I can't do any of that. There's no way I'm going to be able to do that. I still need surgery. So he says, your rotator cuff in your left hand shoulder is what it is. It's never going to be until you come in and get it done. So we struggled a lot through that with kind of a weakness on my left hand side, and then that developed up, and I started to gain strength, and then all of a sudden, I'm here, and I'm looking back, and there doesn't seem to have been a time. It's just melted into a thing, and I go to the gym and I look at people, and you pick people out and you go, oh, they're inspirational people. You know what I mean? The way they train, how they carry themselves, what they do. You look at them and you're going, I can't be normal. I can't do stuff by half. I'm like, I need to be in that category. I just don't want to be in the gym training. I need to be in that category. I need to find a way to get to a place where I feel like I belong at the top end of what's in there.
Where does that come from?
Has
that always been the case?
Oh my God. I'm not an addictive personality, but I'm obsessively driven. So I'll pick something up and get into it, and that's it. I'm going to get it. I'm going to buy the tools. I'm going to get the kit. And I've gone through transitions of that. Like, you want to see the bike I had? They're like, unbelievable. Like, thousands of euros worth of bike. I set up a studio during COVID for online coaching and training, and all the gear, got everything. Like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it right. And I'm just driven, and I'm like, Ruth says, you are the most competitive person. But I'm not competing against anybody. It's internally driven. I need to be a little bit better all of the time. And that has been more enriched by the courses that I've done. So all of the coursework I did in the masters was all about goal setting. It was all about positive psychology, how to get the best out of yourself. And I look back, and I probably... I had a very successful martial arts career, and then I moved into football, so soccer coaching, and I went and did my UEFA B badge, and I had a good bit of success with junior teams up to teenage teams into senior teams, always successful, but it wasn't my time. It wasn't for me. It was for other people, and it was always for other people. This time round, it's for me. However, I'm of the opinion that, and particularly for me, I cannot do this without the support system that I've had. And that started the day I broke my neck. And Ruth took me on board, took me in, looked after me, dressed me, fed me, encouraged me, drove me on to build a business, drove me on to do my masters, told me to go back to the gym, and then to this day has sacrificed everything. And the way I look at it is, she, and I'm the same for her, I just haven't had the time to repay it yet, because she hasn't gone on a journey that I need to, and she will. She just hasn't done it yet. She says, your time is coming to an end, and now it's going to be my time, and I know that's going to happen. But she has sacrificed everything. Her social life is around going out for food and eating. She doesn't drink, so we would go out, and I've taken that away from her. I don't eat at night time with them. While I sit with them, I don't put the effort into cooking that I used to. I love cooking. I don't put the effort into that anymore, because my stuff is in tubs. It's in Tupperware tubs, and so I make them their dinner, but I'm sitting with them with tubs. So she's sacrificed a massive amount, but not once has she said, don't go to the gym. Not once has she said, don't do that. She has just, do it. And even at the weekend, I was saying to you, I'm like, it's getting hard now. And she was like, don't eat that. Put it down. Don't eat it.
It's probably
put it away.
Probably a good time to say we're 10 days out from the shoot.
Yeah.
So 10 days out from your photo shoot, you're basically peeled out of your mind, and obviously at that stage where the food has to be out of tubs, you know, like realistically 100%. To get the best results, right?
Yeah.
And you're in a place where all your body wants to do is give in, like all your head wants to do, and even all the psychological stuff that you've done over the years.
Yeah.
this is probably putting all of that to the test as well, right? In real terms.
And I woke up last night, like, I woke up at 2 o'clock this morning, and I was like, I'm looking forward to this podcast. And then I was thinking about stuff, and I said, what's going on here? And I realized it's stuff that I teach. It's my amygdala is switched on. It's in an emergency. It's like, we're dying here, man. Like, let's do something about this. But she was able to pull me back from that, from not eating. She was willing to go, don't eat, put it away. Where other people might be just whatever.
This is an interesting topic to touch on, actually, where I find that there will be a certain amount when I start working with clients, there's certain people who will have people around them that will not trying to be supportive, but they'll almost be unsupportive of their like goals without realizing it. So I have an opinion that people want you to be comfortable, especially if they love you. They want you to be comfortable. And it's the reason why, you know, if something bad happens, someone will say, treat yourself with this, or put on the kettle, we'll have a cup of tea, we'll have a biscuit or whatever. So if you're having a bad day, you're having a tough day, you're struggling with your diet, whatever it is, from a fitness standpoint, people's first thing, especially as Irish people, is we'll have a bit of food, we'll relax, be kind to yourself. Whereas I don't think people understand when you have extreme goals like what you have, you need someone like Ruth there to be like, and Jen is exactly like that for myself. She's like that through my prep, and she will be like that in my next prep. And it's not necessarily that you couldn't do it without it, but with that support, it makes it 10 times easier, because you've got someone giving you the perspective from them not being in the place where you are. They're not mentally fucked when it comes to how they feel and their desire around food, but they also understand your biggest reason why. And that's the biggest thing. So they're pushing you towards that, even understanding that currently you're in a degree of pain, currently you're in a degree of struggle, but they know it's worth it because they understand why you're doing it on the back end, right?
Yeah, and she had said to me, I came to you there like, I don't know what it was, maybe a month, 6 weeks back, and I was going, is this right for me? Is this a healthy thing to do? And she was like, you can't step off this train now. She said, you will regret it. Your personality will eat you if you don't finish this out. And you were like, remember you saying it to me, you're all the way fucking, or you're all the way, and I was like, no, I'm in. But touching on that point, comfort's an addiction. People are addicted to being comforted. People find the easiest way to do everything. They'll find an easier way to do something. Even in the gym when you're doing weights, your body's trying to find the easiest way, not the correct technical way. It's trying the easiest way to move that weight. And Ruth was like she comes home from the hairdressers yesterday. She's getting her hair done. She says, I showed the hairdressers your photographs. And I went, you're kidding me. She says, no. So she's like super proud of what I'm doing. Christopher said to me, and he's 10. I think I told you this. He says, so proud to be walking around you. And I went, what? And he goes, yeah. He says, you look amazing. And I'm walking beside you. And like, for a kid to say that, it's blew me away.
Does that make the struggle of I'm hungry, I want to eat that, or whatever, does that make it worth it? Does that
because
put things into perspective for you and kind of goes, right, okay, like I'm doing this there's a bigger purpose here. You're showing people what resilience looks like, you're showing people what hard work looks like.
And again, Ruth is like, he is learning so much from watching what you're doing. It's like he's picking up so much stuff about discipline and about drive and about what it takes, and he is like, I went into his teachers meeting there, and she goes, oh, you're Mark. He says, he never stops talking about you. And Ruth's like, what about me? No, he never stops talking about Mark. So giving that to someone alone will stand to him. But then you have all the other people, the outside people, the people that I meet in work, and they're like, Ruth's mom, my parents, what are you doing it for? Like, why are you putting yourself through that? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? What's the goal? What's the purpose? And I am exhausted trying to explain it. where Ruth just goes, no, I'll explain it for you, because he's not able to do it. He just can't do it. And I said it to you. I said this, like, if I was running a marathon, no one would think a second thing about it. You're running a marathon, brilliant, because they're not directly involved in seeing what the prep is. Where if I go to someone's house, like the Irish, coffee, biscuits, do you want a toasted sandwich? And I'm like, no, I don't want it. Well, have something to eat. No.
We're also taught, well, maybe not taught, but there's a general, I feel, consensus that people who have a focus on their physique development and take things to the extreme, I think there's a thought, especially when we look at, let's say, bodybuilding, which is obviously a very extreme example, or then photo shoots, which is probably the next step down from a show, would be people will automatically assume that if you're that focused or you're getting that lean, that it's extremely unhealthy, and that you have a bad relationship with food, or you have a bad relationship with your body, or you have a bad self-image. And I feel that it's only when, and obviously if you don't, as long as you don't have a poor relationship with those things, and you're in a good headspace, I don't think that it's something people can understand until they experience it themselves.
No, they definitely can't. And it's like it's my Everest. That's what it is. I said it to you. It's like it's my climb. And with what went on in the background, it means more to me to get this done, because I don't recognize myself now looking in the mirror. I'm like, I've never looked ever.
Where do you feel you would be? Because I wonder about people who would be in a similar spot to where you were 5 years ago, or even 2-3 years on from that, where obviously you've gone through the rehab, let's say, and things are still pretty shit. You're still not really able to function properly. Like, and so you're 57?
Yeah.
So you would have been, let's say, 55, 56 in 2023. Obviously, if you leave that for 5-6 years, all of a sudden you're in your 60s.
Very easy.
We're probably looking at a situation where it's downhill pretty quick, and then all of a sudden you've not got a whole lot of mobility.
Very easy.
So the difference in terms of what you've given yourself in terms of life, like in terms of ability to do things into the next 15-20 years, is huge, right?
Yeah, I took a tablet called Protein. It's for acid reflux, and every day. So, and it turns off your pyloric pump. It stops you producing acid into your stomach. I haven't taken that in 2 years. My blood pressure's dropped. The whites of my eyes have changed colour. They've got whiter when I'm in a route. Your eyes are like white. Like it's unbelievable how your body responds to cutting out the amount of crap processed food that we have access to, drinking more water, eating normal food like rices and chickens. Now, you know, I've met a fella and he goes, I've known you 2 years training, and every day I meet you, you were eating out of a tub, rice and chicken. I says, that you don't know how you do it. Unbelievable. And it's just become a habit now. Now I am looking forward to popping out of this and just relaxing a little bit and growing again. And this box is ticked off and getting back and enjoying the gym. But it's an incredible process to go through, and you only realize there's a really big there's a big detox in it. And if you said to me there, where would you be? I could very easily have gone down the comfort road and just went, look, this is what it is. I had an accident. I'm not able to do these things. Let's watch a lot more Netflix and just take a handy and eat. And I'd have put on weight, and I'd have probably popped up to 100 kilos, and I wouldn't have noticed it. I'd have just carried on in life. That's what people do. Just carry on in life now. Having done this, oh man, if I'd have missed out on this in life, and it's so easy to have done, I could have easily done it. If I'd have missed out on it in life, it would have been a massive regret, because I knew I was capable of doing it. I just didn't know whether I was going to be able to respond to it. But I tell you, of everything, of the discipline and motivation. You know, like if you listen, I'm a podcast listener. I can listen to hundreds of them. They're no good to you if you don't do something about them. But the number one thing for me through the whole thing has been accountability. And I know about accountability because that's what a coach gives you. And from my perspective, and I'm coaching people in Ireland don't invest in themselves. They don't see the value in hiring someone like me to coach them in the mental aspect of the game, how to change behaviors, because they think they have it dialed in. No one has it dialed in. Even at the top level of success, you don't have it dialed in. You have so much more to give, and you don't realize it until someone brings it out of you. And it was the same for me like this. I thought I knew how to go into a gym and train and lose a bit of weight. I could lose weight quick through getting on a bike or through running. But there was no physique development in that. And that is like a furnace. When you start to build that on, that starts to increase your metabolism and everything. So the accountability that came from having to check in with you, having to train with you at the start and then check in with you every week, that keeps you true. And then I also had Ruth, and she was like, if I'm giving up shift for this, you're gonna do it. And I need that. I'm the type of person that needs that. And if I need it, everyone needs it, because I'm driven to do stuff like this. So the investment in a coach to guide you through this process, to set out your meal plans, to tell you what to eat, to tell you what to lift, how to do it, when to do it. You still have to go and do it, but the accountability is massive. And for the investment in money and to pay for it, that alone is life-changing. You know, it's life-changing. So being able to come to you and, like, I look forward to Wednesday evenings. I'm like, I'm going to get me check-in now. What's it going to say? Have I been good or have I been, it's like Santi, have I been good or have I been bad? And like there's been times where you gone, the day you cut me calories when we were coming, devastating. I sat in the bed and I went, shoulders dropped. I went, oh my God, I don't think I can go any deeper than this, because I was struggling in work. Cognitively, I was struggling. I was in conversations teaching people, and in the middle of the conversation, I'd be like, I'm going to have to stop there, lads. I don't know what I'm talking about. Literally, being honest, I just went, just give me a second. We'll retrace that back there. So when you cut me calories, I was like, oh my God. And then I really struggled for a little while. But then I adapted again. And then on the flip side of that, when you brought me calories back up, when you said, like, we're coming back out of this now, I was like, oh my God, deadly. A little bit of food increase. You appreciate stuff so much more when you don't have it all of the time. But your ability to do stuff is there. You need someone to bring you on the journey. You can't do it on your own.
You don't know what you don't know either.
You cannot do it on your own.
You really don't know what you don't know. And that was actually one of the biggest lessons that I learned in my first my first and only bodybuilding prep. And obviously I go into prep in 5 or 6 weeks now for my next season. And that's been 2.5 years. I didn't know what I didn't know. I thought I had a really strong mindset, all the rest of it. Got into prep, got 4 or 5, 6 weeks out. Questions, alarm bells start going off. And I was only when I came out of that prep and I was like, fuck, I've got some work to do before I prep again, because I was mentally weak at times. Not that I went off track at all, but there was a mindset that was like weak and weaker than I thought it would be. It's easy to think you've got a strong mindset, but it's only when it's put to the test.
I think everyone has that.
You can look at it and go, oh, that's actually brought up something now that I need to work on, or that I need to try and improve on.
Yeah.
I suppose, last question before we wrap up, what's the biggest thing that you've learned about yourself through the process of taking yourself from where you were to where you are now? Like, what's the biggest lesson that you've learned?
If I go back to that back image that I told you about, that I have, and you'll see it. So it'd be online. If you look at that back image and you look at my back now, in the space of time that's taken,
18 months.
like anyone can achieve that. But you need other things with you. What's the most important thing for me? It has been the support system. I question myself. I doubt whether I would have been able to give it as much without that support system. Any negativity, anything where, because it's not that you're weak-minded or you realize, oh, I'm a little bit weak here. Any negativity, your brain will naturally look for an excuse to jump off the train. Do you know what I mean? It's, okay, look, I'm under a bit of pressure here. Maybe next time. So helping people along the journey that are on that journey, from your coach, from my fiance now, or it's so important. You have to have the drive. You have to have the commitment. You have to start. There's a start point, and when you start pushing the car and it starts moving, you know, it's hard to move at the start, but when it starts moving, it gets easier, and you build momentum, and then all of a sudden, this is Christmas of 2024. I've nearly done 2 years. Don't even realize it. It's just happened. And I look back and I go, it's not that, it's difficult at times, but in the space of time, from the time I was injured, broken, to now, it's past. I don't remember it anymore. So I'm just like, I'm immediately now focused on Tuesday week, which is a photo shoot. I would never have done a photo shoot. I'm not interested in it. I just, the vanity, but now I'm looking forward to it. I'm going, I deserve this. I'm after putting in a grind, and I'm going to see some results for it. On the back end of that, I'm looking forward to the next phase. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be something. And like Don said to me yesterday, he said, would you think of going on stage? And I went, oh, probably. It's in the back of my mind. It is in the back of my mind.
I'd say there's a 97% chance that you'll be on the muscle contest stage in 2026, to be honest.
Yeah, for me, if I was able to produce something for my 60th, I would be like, why not?
Well, Al's show just got released as well, so
I saw that. Yeah,
Al's show 2026.
Yeah, I'm very goal orientated. Very goal orientated. Very goal orientated. I need goal setting. I want to take a little bit of time now to relax and enjoy the gym and grow a little bit and have fun again. And do you know, I'm really looking forward to a new program. So we've been on this for quite a while. So a new program, and that sparks your enthusiasm again. But at 60, like, I've done my masters this year. I've done this. I've packed it all in at the same time. Anybody that says they don't have the time to do stuff, it's all bullshit. It is bullshit. Like, you get up early in the morning, go to the gym after. You've loads of space during the day to do what you need to do. Loads of it. I didn't think I had time. I have a business to run. I have a family. I've the gym. I had college. I had study. You know what I was doing with study. Didn't seem possible on paper. Yeah, it is. No problem.
Yeah. You
just have to allocate and prioritize, and then get stuck in, and the reward at the end of it is one person saying to you, man, you look great. One person. And that fuels you on to the next person, to your partner, your spouse, to your young lad, that all saying to you, that's what it's all about. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I'm highly functional now. Functional fitness. What I do, with the job that I do, I teach response teams, I teach rescue. I'm able to outrun and outcompete anybody that I teach.
And that's huge.
I think that for me is everything.
Yeah. I mean, look, what you've achieved in the 18 months is it's outrageous, because even to have the function back in your shoulders, even to be like little things like that. If we had said forget the physique stuff, if we had just said you'd be able to move the way you can,
You'd have been
in
delighted
18
with
months,
that.
that'd be everything. You know, so. This has been incredible to sit down and go through this, and
it was good.
like chronologically to walk through from where you were then to where you are now. It's absolutely outrageous. So thanks a million, Mark. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for everything. It's been such a journey, and I can't wait. There's going to be many more years to go. You never know.
And hopefully we can release this with photo shoot photos from Tuesday week as well.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks very much.
Brilliant stuff.
Really
Cheers,
appreciate
Mark.
it.
Thank you.
Thanks.